How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez and Filthy Tom Lawlor here. Wrestling Observer Radio, September 8, 2018. Figure4online.com/WrestlingObserver.com. Dave is in the UK right now, and he is going into the Hall of Fame. He is very, very busy. Doesn't return until Monday night. And so for the first time in as long as I can remember, Dave's not here for a weekend UFC Observer Radio. Tom is filling in for them. What's happening, Tom?
Brian, if I remember correctly, there was a show that you, I, and Paul Fontaine did.
That's right. Where was Dave?
Dave. That's a good question.
It's very rare this happens. You'd think I would remember off the top of my head, but... Yeah, we got the UFC show to talk about here today. We got all of the weekend news, a lot of other fun stuff, so let's not waste any time. Main event of last night's UFC. Tyrone Woodley retained the welterweight title, beating Darren Till. Darce choke submission, 4:19 of the second round. Thought it was a really impressive performance by Tyrone Woodley. Although I don't think really anyone thought that Darren Till should be fighting for the welterweight title.
Oh, Brian, but he was the odds-on favorite.
He was the odds-on favorite. He beat the shit out of this guy in the second round. He beat the shit out of him. There's no polite way on this show to describe what happened other than he beat the shit out of him in the second round. He dropped him 10 seconds into the round. He was killing this dude on the ground. Till was in the game, so the referee allowed the fight to continue for 4 more minutes. The same referee, by the way, that was breaking up clinches after 10 seconds in the first round. He lets this guy lay on the ground and just get mauled by this bear. He just smashed open his forehead. Till's bleeding all over the place, kind of trying to save himself in guard. Woodley gets the mount, ends up in the half guard, just keeps smashing the guy, and finally put him in a Darce choke, submitted him with 42 seconds left. This was Woodley's first submission win since 2009. They gave him his black belt in jiu-jitsu after this fight. He dropped to his knees and wept upon receiving his black belt, which may have been a more emotional reaction than when he actually won the UFC welterweight title. He looked like a total monster here, just destroyed this guy. What did you think of this fight, Tom?
This is the first time I thought in a long time that Woodley has looked like the dominant force in the division at welterweight. Actually, perhaps the first time ever. Probably his most impressive performance up to this point. Darren Till, 17-0 with 1 draw. That draw, I remember watching that fight. It was against Nicholas Dalby. Do you know who that is, Brian?
Nicholas Dalby?
Yes.
No.
He's a UFC fighter.
Thank you.
You know?
Sure.
That's Darren Till's draw.
Okay.
So I was never too impressed by Till despite his winning streak. That win over Cowboy Cerrone, if you remember correctly, Cerrone was coming off a fight. I think he had been knocked out pretty recently right before that fight, or at least had fought pretty recently before he was beaten by Till. So I was always kind of suspect by that win. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has the tendency to kind of fight at the level of whoever he's fighting, if you catch my drift. And this showed here. I thought that Tyrone Woodley looked great. Like you said, he would get on top after that big right hand. He would continually back up towards the cage, trying to draw Till in. And for the first, I would say, half of a round of the first round, perhaps even more than that, Till virtually did nothing. He stopped a couple of takedown attempts, but that was it. So Woodley won the first round, and then Woodley blasted him, like you said, got on top. He did something very crafty. He had an overhook on top as Till was looking for the half guard sweep from on bottom, and he would catch Till's bottom hand, which is the one that you would need to post on to stand up. He would trap that hand, not allowing Till to get up. And he was actually looking for the Darce a bunch right before that, but Till would kind of fight out. I don't think he necessarily recognized the choke, but I could see Woodley going for about a minute before he actually got it. But great Great performance. After the fight, he said happy birthday to his son Darren and also to Wiz Khalifa. And he didn't know who he wanted to fight.
Yeah, Wiz Khalifa, because he says he's got an album
song
coming out, or like a song. I forget what it was like. We're gonna whip your asses or something.
I'll beat yo ass, featuring Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, it's gonna be out in a week on all platforms. He said.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yeah,
we may have to use that for our entrance music from now on.
Yeah, I don't know. Most impressive Woodley's looked.
It was very, very impressive, and looks like probably they asked him who he wanted next, and he said, every time I ask, I don't get anything, so who gives a shit? I'll just fight whoever. Probably going to be Colby Covington.
Well, this Tyron Woodley, this like public feud with Dana, I think is going to get him a new subset of fans that used to be, against Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, this Colby Covington guy was he was the interim champion. The interim UFC welterweight champion. He beat Rafael Dos Anjos.
The first champion to visit the White House ever.
Yeah, and then they just stripped him.
Yeah.
What?
Despite your political leanings, whatever they are, I mean, that is an impressive thing to be the first UFC champion to visit the White House, and then they're just like, we're taking the belt from you.
It's just bizarre. What's the point of even having him fight for that title if you're just going to take it away from him? Shouldn't he at least defend the interim title against the champion in the fight?
And I believe that Dana said that the winner of this fight was going to fight Covington anyways. So what's the harm in having the interim champion face the champion? For promotional photos, it looks better. For the entire thing, it looks better. Then one guy can have two belts at the end of the night. What the fuck?
I have no idea. I was so gobsmacked when they announced that. It's like by stripping him of the title today for literally no reason, it's like you're telling us that him fighting for the interim title, it was just all bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess.
Just weird. It's just fucking so weird. I don't even get it. Can somebody explain this to me? Why was it even for the interim title? You know what I'm saying? Why did him and Rafael fight for the interim title? What was up with Woodley at the time? I don't even remember.
I think he just refused to fight Covington.
Well, there you go. Guess that'll be the next fight. That's not the only person stripped. The Nico Montano versus Valentina Shevchenko fight that was scheduled to be the semi-main event canceled after Montano sent to the hospital with, you'll never guess, weight-cutting issues, kidney issues. Fight canceled. Dana announced she was being stripped of the title and that Shevchenko would fight for the vacant title as soon as she's able.
Didn't Max Holloway have a similar...
He did.
And that was at a higher weight class?
Yes.
Was that the deal with that?
I don't know why this one he just flipped
Amanda
his lid.
Nunez have like a similar deal? Like she had a panic attack or she was sick or something?
Well, she had, something else.
And I mean, why this one? Why Nico Montano?
I don't know.
I know they've had problems getting her to fight in the past, but she was injured, I believe. I believe she had some monetary issues, if I remember the article I read correctly. I don't know. But why her? Why strip her of all people? This is not like status quo.
I mean, literally, she just won the title. Not just, it was almost a year ago. But the point
she
is,
won tough. She defeated Roxanne Modafferi.
Yeah, she won the title.
In the finals, yes.
Yeah, she was the first ever champion. And just tonight he decided, or yesterday, God damn it, you're no longer the champion. Hey, listen, there's a part of me that's like, good. I'm sick of people missing weight.
What they should have done
is stupid.
They should have had Valentina come out tonight, okay, get in the center of the ring, ring that bell 10 times, and if Montano doesn't make it out there,
they have count-outs.
You give Shevchenko the belt.
I don't think they have count-outs in UFC. I'd have to...
You don't think?
I'd have to check
I'm pretty sure they don't.
Yeah, if you leave the cage, I think that's the end of the fight.
Well, it depends. If you get thrown out... I think the guy doing the throwing gets DQ'd.
Sure. But does the title change hands in a DQ? It does in UFC, right?
It probably should.
I mean,
otherwise,
I actually cannot remember off the top of my head. Has there ever been a title change via DQ in UFC?
I don't think so. I mean, there's been a litany of eye pokes.
Sure.
John Jones fights and other fights, but
let's see here.
I don't think ever a real DQ.
Well, based on some message board threads here, as recently as 2015, it does not appear that anybody has ever won a championship via DQ in UFC. But I don't understand why you couldn't.
I mean, Yushin Okami did win he beat Anderson Silva. That might have been the semifinals of a Rumble on the Rock Rumble on the Rock MMA show.
I mean, as far as I know, there's no reason that the title can't change hands on a DQ. So now that we're talking about it, maybe it's going to happen one of these days because this ain't WWE. Anything can happen. All right, the semi-main event of the show with that one off. Jessica Andrade, Carolina Kowalkiewicz. 1 minute and 58 seconds of the first round. Rogan says a lot of things. Like
does he ever?
When the show started, he's talking about like Darren Till's the next big thing and how awesome Darren Till is. And I was like, even casual fans know that Darren Till isn't like the next big thing. Nothing against the guy.
Brian, did they? Because clearly there had to be money coming in on him.
Well, of course there is, but still.
Like what?
Point of this is, he says, Andrade reminds me of a young Vanderlei Silva. And I thought, oh, what a thing to say. And then she fucking goes out there, and she was a young Vanderlei Silva. Just throwing like a crazy person. Overwhelmed her. Carolina survived, but then Andrade unloaded a second flurry, and then she fucking punched her in the face and knocked her out. And listen, because of the size of the women, you almost always will see a TKO. You'll rarely see an actual knockout. And these were strawweight women. And Andrade knocked her completely out. That was horrifying.
Out before she even hit the ground.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where like her head smashed the mat and she kind of woke up a little bit, but the ref's like, dude, you're out of here. That was so brutal.
She got blasted early on. It looked like she was going to survive. Showed some shades of Tom Petty. Wouldn't back down. And that big bomb of a right forced the Big John, Big Dan, one of them, step in. Minute 58 in round one. Speaking of impressive performances in the vein of Tyron Woodley, this clearly was Andrade's most impressive performance.
Yeah, she got performance of the night. Tyrone got performance of the night, and another fight we'll talk about in a moment got the fight of the night.
Poor Carolina here. Still so precious and cute, crying afterwards, congratulating Andrade.
She was precious and cute,
fan.
But man, she got killed.
Yeah.
You like the Polish girls.
She's very attractive.
Yeah. All right. So the next fight on the docket here, Zabit. Maybe I should just call him Zabit. Magomed Sharapov versus Brandon Davis. So Davis actually did very well for himself in the first round. He probably won the first round. Zabit kind of laid back. Davis landed a bunch of shots. Zabit gave him a German there at the end, but Davis was right back up, and Zabit really didn't do a lot in the first round. So then he comes out in the second round, just turns it on, takes this guy down, rides him for like 2 minutes. Davis gets up, Zabit takes him down again, gets his back, and all of a sudden, I knew the finish before I watched this. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew that it was some sort of knee bar. So he's on this guy's back, and I'm like, okay, there's only a few seconds left before the submission, so how the fuck is he going to get a knee bar off this position right here? And all of a sudden, he rolls into, I guess Cormier called it a banana split. It really wasn't a banana split.
Stump puller.
It was a fucking stump puller. It was a shoot stump puller, and he's got Davis in this hold. Davis's foot, or his leg, is on his face, and you can see his face, and he's trying so hard to be calm, but then his face starts to scrunch up a little bit, and then he just starts tapping, and he's done. And this was the second stump puller finish on the show. There's never been a stump puller in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championships.
Yes, there has.
With what win? Who?
Kenny Robertson did it.
Really?
Yes. Anamar Siluev did it in like an M1 show.
Wow. Well, hey, we had 2 on this show, so that's historic. And suffice to say, Zabit got the win.
Yeah.
This was really fun.
Yeah. These guys were fun to watch.
Thank you. Thank you, Cole. No other comments?
Zabit hit the sweet old school Machida hopping karate trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did nothing for 3 minutes. Bored me to death. Called out Chad Mendez afterwards.
Chad Mendez?
Yeah.
Such a random name. Nothing wrong with it, but it was...
Well, Chad Mendez is tough. A lot of people know who he is.
Yeah. So he did his promo and he said that Davis told him that he had problems with his grappling and he wanted to prove to him that he did not have problems with his grappling. Can you imagine? I mean, that's such a great story. You make fun of a guy for being bad at grappling. And not only does he submit you, he submits you with a fucking stump puller. That's like the story of the year right there.
Do you know the story of Benji Raddick?
I know Benji Raddick.
Do you know him?
What's the story?
Do you know him? Do you actually know him?
I know of him.
It was he either stole this guy's girlfriend or this guy stole his girlfriend, and he was getting ready for a fight, and his opponent backed out, and this guy stepped in to fight him and knocked him out.
Shit happens.
No kidding. But to like one of the top fighters in the world at the time.
Yeah.
Some jabron off the street came in and overhand righted him and KO'd him in like a couple minutes.
He's not a jabroni, but Matt Serra knocked out George St. Pierre. There's all sorts of crazy upsets. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we got beat by some octogenarians.
Don't even get me started. Jimmy Rivera, John Dodson. I ain't gonna lie, this bored the hell out of me.
From 80-year-olds to an 8-year-old here fighting.
It was technically fine. Was not very exciting at all. Fans are booing.
What?
Rivera kicked him in the nuts.
No, just bury this fight. What do you mean? Don't be nice. This fight sucked.
It was just terrible.
What was this? This sucked. Come on.
You know the worst part of this fight was?
Him around.
Let me tell you the worst part of this fight. They have a boring first round. They have a boring second round. They have a boring third round. And then, I swear to God, the last 5 seconds, they have a firefight. They're just fucking throwing like crazy. And as a result, when the bell rang, the fans were even more furious. If they hadn't had that 5-second flurry, the fans would have been like, boo, boring fight. But because they went, what would it be, 14 minutes and 55 seconds or whatever, doing jack shit, and then in the last 5 seconds they actually fought, now the fans were outraged. And they booed their heads off. This sucked. Don't watch it. That's my review.
Yeah. In between rounds, Greg Jackson, in between the second and third, told John Dodson to jump kick him in the chest. And throw like 5 punches in a row. That was his advice. Have fun out there. And then Dodson goes out. He throws exactly 1 punch, and Rivera decks him in the face and sends him like stumbling backwards. But yeah, the rest of this fight is so boring until the end. I noticed one of the ringside judges looked like Craig ate Vinny.
Oh, come on.
This fight so bad, Rivera didn't get interviewed at the end. You know your fight sucked when you win and you still don't get the post-fight interview.
Can I ask you a question, Tom? This is a serious question.
Sure.
As a man who's cornered many fighters, whenever I go to a jiu-jitsu competition and my guys are out there on the mat, like I hate coaching them at the show. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what the hell am I going to tell them there? Am I going to teach them jiu-jitsu in the middle of this fucking fight? Of course not. And what are you going to do? Like yell, hey, watch the triangle, or hey, there's an omoplata right there. I mean, their opponent's right there listening too. Help me.
Brian.
Yes.
I swear to you that I have I guarantee you, I know it 100%. I have helped guys win fights with corner advice, either in between rounds or during the fight, what they're doing. Sometimes the guy can't see everything as they're trying to do something, and I swear to you,
I believe you. I believe you. I just like some help. I always feel completely useless out there. Like, you should fucking know what you're doing out there. And there is no time between rounds because it's just one long round.
Yes, but a lot of it is basics advice is what I'll give. Like keep your hands up, breathe, relax.
Sure.
Stuff like that, because a lot of times guys will just get in the heat of the moment and let their hands drop. You give them those constant basic instructions, and then everything else seems to kind of fall into place.
Never have me coach you. I'm useless.
Posture, pressure. But I mean, I've had people, be in positions, and I've told them like, "Hey, throw this strike to set this up."
That's a different thing. If you're in the corner and you're telling them shit that the other guy can't hear, I mean, it's very different. Like in the heat of it.
No. I'm saying in the heat of it.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. I always find myself yelling something and the opponent takes advantage of it. I feel like I should yell the wrong thing to him. It's like
you have to do it at the right time.
Like a kind of like in baseball where we got hand signals, or we have like a carny language that we could speak to each other.
Yeah, well, actually, we'll get to that later on.
Oh, cool. All right, so Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Nico Price.
Sorry, Brian. Who I believe is like the second fighter in UFC history with that name.
Really?
I think so.
I didn't know that.
But, yeah.
Anyway, he beat Nico Price 43 seconds of the first round. And even though that sounds quick, the reality is they actually didn't do a damn thing for 30 seconds. It was only the final 13 seconds when both guys just started throwing like crazy. Alisson flattened him, got the knockout. This was the first time Price had ever been knocked out. Al Hassan has had 11 fights in his career. He has lost one fight. It went to a 3-round decision. Every other fight, all 10 of his other fights, he has finished via knockout or TKO. 6 of those in under 1 minute. And he admitted afterwards, when someone hits me, I get mad, and I start hitting them back. And I don't back up. I thought, that works great now, but it's probably going to not work so well later on. Worked great here, though. Knock this dude out.
Worked like a charm. He really didn't get hit that many times. He ate a big punch right to start, but that was
it made him mad.
Yeah. Then he hulked up.
Yep. So that's the main card, and as is the way we do things here on this program, Tom, take us through the prelims.
Holy crap, you didn't see any of these?
I saw one.
Okay. Well, I will take us through the prelims, starting with Tatiana Suarez versus Carla Esparza. Both girls are former TUF winners, Esparza being the first women's strawweight champion as well. Suarez was a contender to represent the U.S. in the 2012 Olympics for wrestling before cancer. What did they say it was? Thyroid cancer, maybe? Put those plans on hold. Suarez pushing the action forward to land a takedown early, which the Cookie Monster, Carla Esparza, defends initially before being overwhelmed. Dragged down, she's dominated, brutalized with ground and pound. They likened it on commentary to the style of Khabib, which usually involves a lot of wrist trapping on top in order to control the person on bottom to land ground and pound. But Suarez was doing that, but really controlled Esparza by keeping her forehead continually under Esparza's chin as she would try to get up and drive her into the cage, do the same thing up against the cage in order to land body lock takedowns, just ran through her. Same thing in round 2. Carla's forehead after the second round, sporting the old Triceratops look after she was eating punches and elbows.
Not a great look.
10 minutes. No. Suarez looked nearly unstoppable, and the referee, Kerry Hatley, gave us a mercy stoppage with about 30 seconds left as Esparza was pinned to the floor, eating strikes from above. If you're a fan of seeing someone get brutally wrestle-fucked, this is a fight for you. Wow. She told Rose Namajunas... What?
I said, wow.
Oh. Yes. She told Rose Namajunas to put the title in her mailbox. 81 significant strikes to 0, 8 takedowns to 0.
God.
Oh, 5
Jesus.
seconds. 5 seconds of control for Esparza. And the
How
best
the fuck
part,
did
Brian,
she not get a performance of the night?
the best part about this fight, Judge Daniel Matheson gave Carla Esparza round 1
No.
by a score of 10-8.
I mean, I didn't see it, but
By a score of 10-8.
really.
I swear.
Huh.
Later after the match, he admitted he made a mistake.
No shit. Okay. Hey, you know what?
Sorry.
You know what? Good
You
for
should have
him.
watched this fight.
Good for him. Good for him to admit that he made a mistake.
No, he should have
Dude, these
stood up for
shitheads make
himself.
mistakes all the fucking time and they don't own up to it. Am I wrong?
Come on, he had to. This is one of the worst beatings you've seen in a long time.
I know, but I've seen many fights
I guess
where you
it's one of
watch the
worst beatings you
scores
haven't seen.
and it's like there's no way the judge knew who was who. He had to have them backwards. I've seen that happen several times.
because-
and the guy never admits it.
The next round, he had them correct.
Yeah, well, he figured it out.
And then he kept the first round like
I don't know. You can't go back. You hand him in between rounds.
So then we had Aljamain Sterling took on Cody Stamann, the Spartan, one of 2 nicknames of Spartan on this show. John Anik made the claim that Aljamain Sterling stopped 3 people in his last sparring session.
Wow.
You're not really supposed to talk about that stuff, nor does it
We
really
didn't say
matter.
who.
It's true. And perhaps he just stopped them.
I think it's
hey,
okay. I think it's okay
knock
to
it
say
off.
in your last training session, you took out 3 guys. When you say, like, what happens in the gym stays in the gym, that's like, naming names and that sort of thing. I think it's okay to say you finished 3 guys. That could be any 3 guys. Could have been a janitor.
Where's the footage of me beating up Wang?
It's out there.
Oh, yeah. All right, so
I should
Sterling,
put that actually on our video channel.
Yeah. Sterling repeatedly looking to land wild strikes to set up takedowns, with Stamann defending until Stamann landed a body lock double leg. But Aljamain threw up a triangle, which Cody slipped out of after a trying 30 seconds for Mr. Stamann, before slamming Sterling again at the end of round 1 to probably win that round. Aljo gets a takedown against a cage off of a kick attempt by Stamann in round 2, but Cody up to his feet, runs Sterling across the cage with a double leg to the floor. Sterling fights up, gets Stamann's back off the body lock, takes him down after a marginal rolling knee bar attempt by Stamann, takes his back, locks him up with a full Nelson. Goes for the old full Nelson here, the master lock. Decides to switch to punches. Then Stamann stands up, and much like Zabit Magomedsharipov earlier, or later on, I guess I should say, Aljamain grabs a hold of Stamann's leg, pulls it, and gets the old stump puller off of back control to win. Destroyed Stamann's leg. They collapsed over it.
Oh.
Just a brutal here. He almost had the full Nelson earlier as well. Aljamain, in his post-fight interview, called out Dominic Cruz and then called himself the human anaconda, the human backpack, and the human Jansport.
Well, Cody Stamann, on June 11th, said to Aljamain Sterling, and I quote here, I'm not making this up, "I'll smack #D's nuts on your forehead, pussy." And then yesterday he said, "I legit want to whoop this dude's ass because I think he's a cocky little shit. I think he really believes the shit he says. I think he's a little out of touch with reality." Then he got stump pulled into oblivion. And by the way, you told me to watch, which fight was it here? The Irene Aldana fight. Why didn't you have me watch one of those 2 fights?
Well, because I thought you watched at least these prelims.
No, you know this. I told you
I don't.
I told you I wouldn't be
live
back in
and
time to
die
watch
by
it.
Wrestling Observer. I thought you meant the Fight Pass prelims.
No.
Well,
All right.
sorry. You also missed Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and also Steve-O from life's bad decisions in the crowd.
Yeah. All right, let's get through the rest of these.
Okay, well, what the hell do you think I'm doing? Jeff Neal versus Frank Camacho. Jeff Neal beating Camacho to the punch every time they would enter the combat range, combat zone. And I don't mean CZ dub. Neal drops Camacho with a left during a flurry at the end of round 1, and Camacho barely survives by searching for a takedown from his knees. This is a fun fight. Round 2 is much the same as Neal peppers Camacho and backs him up to the cage with some huge bombs. Camacho bites down on his mouthpiece, screams and flexes, yells, and backs Neal up with a mighty roar. Then they exchange again, and Neal throws a left high kick that made the Zapruder film seem tame, gets the KO. Highlight reel knockout for Neal here in his hometown. This was a perfect squash match with a hot finish. Good stuff.
Don't miss it.
especially if your
that was ironic
to cover it.
Get out.
So then the first fight on the regular prelims here, the FX whatever prelims. Darren Stewart had a come from behind victory over Charles Byrd with a.
You're gonna be laughing about that one for weeks, aren't you?
What?
Don't miss it.
No. With a vicious right arm elbow strike over the top of Bird's defense as he had him shelled up against the cage. Another good fight. These guys were fun to watch. So the Fight Pass prelims, we had in the main event, a spot I have been in many times, the Fight Pass or Facebook or God knows what else. Fuel main event prelim spot. Craig White took on Diego Sanchez, and at the weigh-ins, when they faced off, Craig White decided to plant a kiss on Diego, which ultimately proved to be the proverbial kiss of death, as Diego dominated all 3 rounds en route to a unanimous decision victory. White had his moments early in each round, threatening with a guillotine in round 1, even dropping Diego with a punch to open round 3, but Sanchez's signature heart and determination carried him through to victory, as he was able to secure takedowns and dominate White on the ground with relentless top pressure and nonstop ground and pound. Diego looked awesome here, looked like the old school Diego Sanchez. Crowd popped big for Diego at a point while he was sitting on White's face in round 2. And this was never boring, despite it being mostly mat wrestling and no big back and forth striking exchanges. We had Jim Miller from Sparta, New Jersey, taking on Alex the Spartan White. And perhaps the inside information from living in a place that Alex White idolizes helped Jim Miller win as he was making his 30th appearance here in the Octagon, setting the all-time record. Miller looked as good as ever, blasted White with a laser of a left hand that sent him stumbling to the canvas. Miller connected with punches until securing a rear naked choke victory. He mentioned in his post-fight interview that he was diagnosed in 2014, I believe, with Lyme disease, and now has been able to treat it and says he has never felt better. He was fighting underwater, and now his head is above water.
He's coming off 4 straight losses.
Dude, he starched this guy.
Really?
Yeah. He looked awesome.
Well, hopefully that's what happened with that Lyme disease.
The opener, Jared Brooks took on Roberto Sanchez, and this was a split decision win for Brooks. Thought he clearly won the second and third rounds with his wrestling after Sanchez controlled him in round 1. But Rogan called out the split decision victory for Brooks. Brooks won. It should have been unanimous, but some idiot judge gave 2 rounds to Sanchez, and Brooks took this fight on 5 days' notice. And then we had what should have been the main event of the evening, the Best Bout Award given out, I believe. Was it to this fight? Did they get it?
They did get it, yep.
Yeah. Lucy Pudilova, the number 13 ranked woman. What is this, 125? 135? I don't even know. Versus Irene Aldana.
This would have been flyweight. No, bantamweight. I'm sorry, bantamweight.
It's 135, right?
Yeah.
So Aldana, number 12, Pudilova, number 13. So these two equally matched, and boy, were they ever. Pudilova fights just like another Czech fighter I've seen, Jiří Procházka from Ryzen. So I'm not sure if they're stablemates. Perhaps they are. They have this weird plotting and walking style, throwing strikes from weird angles. Aldana was able to land a few strikes early on, but Pudilova just decided she's modern-day PCO, walked through everything Aldana did, closed the round with her best Nintendo 64 Killer Instinct combo impression, unloading strikes. More of the same at the onset of round 2, but Aldana is finally able to get Pudilova moving backwards with a ton of leg kicks that begin to wear on the heavy-throwing Czech. Aldana shoots, but Pudilova stuffs it and to end the round, but Aldana continually kind of cut off Pudilova for the first time about midway through the round, and I thought stole the round. Then Pudilova walked through everything Aldana threw again at the beginning of round 3, while Aldana dodged, dipped, dived, passed punches and kicks, landing combinations of her own. Both women were
blood
wearing
everywhere.
Crimson mask at the end. I think Pudilova probably broke her nose, I'm guessing. They connect repeatedly with barrages of punches en route to a split decision win for Irene Aldana. But this is one of those fights where both women's stock rose. It's a 5-star fight, 2 thumbs up, wherever you want to put them. And in the post-fight interview, Aldana said she really enjoyed the fight, and she's going to work on some things to give a better show next time.
To give a better show?
Yeah, which I doubt. Yeah. I highly doubt is possible.
That's going to be tough.
And apparently, Aldana also broke her hand in the first round at one point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're covered in blood. They just fought their asses off. It was very, very exciting. $50,000 extra to each of them for this fight. They earned it. And that's coming off a show with multiple stump pullers and like Jim Miller smashing dudes. And
this Jeff Neal knockout was brutal.
Yep. But hey, they got the performance or the fight of the night, so there you go.
Tatiana Suarez, record-setting performance, 81 significant strikes to 0.
That's completely insane. How did not everybody get a bonus? So think about this.
You get a bonus. You get a bonus.
81 to 0, and she couldn't get her bonus. I mean, listen, that's more impressive than Tyrone Woodley's deal. He got it because he's a main eventer. Right?
Yeah, but why? I don't really understand.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
I know, but it's like,
I don't know.
He doesn't need it.
Maybe the deal is
you could change somebody on the undercard's life with that money.
Maybe the deal is if we give it to Woodley, people will think that it was a real accomplishment to destroy Darren Till, so they won't feel ripped off by Darren Till being in the main event. But if we give it to somebody on the undercard, then it's like not so impressive what Tyrone did. We want people to think it was impressive what he did.
I don't think anybody was feeling ripped off after this pay-per-view.
I was feeling ripped off.
It's one of the best shows in
a
long time. Come on.
Bumped because somebody missed weight for the 9,000th time. Sick of this weight cutting. It's ridiculous. Hey, let's talk some pro wrestling here, Tom.
What's up?
Let's talk about you making number 424 in the PWA 500 this year.
That's right.
Can you believe it? We were just talking about that on last Wednesday's show.
Yeah, it's a little low if you ask me.
Dude, you were above Brody King, and he is fucking great.
I'm below Cheeseburger.
You're above Brody King. You're below Cheeseburger. I apologize. Yeah, Brody King was ranked way too low. But I could go through the whole damn list and rip it apart. But hey, you're on there, so I'm not going to complain. That's all I said on Wednesday. If you weren't on there, I was going to write a nasty letter, but you were on there, so.
That's right. This past Thursday,
I heard James Storm attacked you.
Yeah. I was competing at MLW War Games, which I think was probably the best show I think that MLW's put on. Crowd was awesome, hot for everything. There was a great match with L.A. Park and Pentagon Jr.
I can imagine.
Yeah, as you can imagine. And then Joey Janela and I were fighting. We were out there getting after it, Brian. And after I'd locked up the go-to-sleeper, he had fended me off. I was able to hit a butterfly suplex from the top. And then I was going to set up once again for the sleeper, but old James Storm, the cowboy, came in and hit me in the back of the head with a beer bottle.
I don't want to break kayfabe, but is it a real beer bottle? It's got to be like fake beer bottle, right? You're not taking
Real
a real
beer bottle.
No. Are you that stupid? It's a real bottle of beer to the back of your head, dude. That's Concussion City. That's dangerous.
I do a lot of bridging. Hindu squats.
Gotta smarten up here, buddy.
Hindu push-ups.
I heard...
Carl Gotch Bible, baby.
I heard over StarCast weekend that James Storm was like gigantic. Like they said that there was Brian Cage, then there was James Storm, and then like way below that was everybody else. Is he that big?
No.
Okay.
I mean, he's pretty damn thick, but...
Yeah. He was in incredible shape now.
He was in good shape. I don't know. I mean,
he's bigger than me.
Look, once you've like been around a guy like Brock or Shane Carwin,
Sure.
you know,
Ain't so big.
exactly. Every show I go to, PCO's there, and that guy's like, what, as wide as two doorways.
He is very, very big. I don't know. I think I told everyone this story, but when I got to maybe I didn't tell this story. When I first got to StarCast, I was, I don't know, maybe about 5 minutes away from the building, and somebody that was there sent me a text. And the text, I wish I had in front of me. It said something like, "OMG, PCO is in the lobby, and everyone is throwing darts at his chest." And I was like, what? And apparently that happened. Dude is completely out of his mind.
He's the best.
So I'm sure you're well aware.
I love that guy. He's great. Really nice guy.
All right, so we got Hell in a Cell next Sunday, not tomorrow. Daniel Bryan, Brie Bella versus The Miz and Maurice in a mixed tag. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe for the WWE title. New Day versus the winners of yet another Smackdown tournament.
Opportunity.
Yes. A
series of matches.
Series of matches for a championship opportunity. I apologize. Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Hell in a Cell, which is the cash-in. Ronda Rousey, Alexa Bliss for the women's title. Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Hell in a Cell. And Charlotte versus Becky.
Hold on. What if Braun just decides he's not going to cash in that night?
He already gave the briefcase. He's already announced it. Yeah.
Well, who'd he give it to?
Well, he gave it to Baron Corbin, so now everyone's afraid that Corbin is going to cash in with his briefcase.
Oh, yes.
But the storyline should be there's a contract in there that was signed by Braun Strowman.
Well, Corbin should still try and fail.
Be humiliated. So here's my question.
He should be forced to wear a wig of his old hair.
Aside from the obvious that Jeff Hardy... Get out of here. Aside from the obvious that Jeff Hardy has to do something stupid, why is Jeff Hardy Randy Orton a cell match, but AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, which went to a wild outside-the-ring DQ in their last match, is just a wrestling match? This doesn't make any sense.
Randy Orton erased Jeff Hardy's.
So now they have to be in a cage?
Connection with the universe.
Okay. Well, anyway, the go-home shows...
Jeff Hardy.
The go-home shows are Monday and Tuesday, and I'm going to read from WWE.com. I just want to read this raw preview to you, Tom. This was written by an actual human, designed to be read by other grown-up humans. Are you ready?
Are you sure this was not designed by Elon Musk?
In the same city that hosted her WWE in-ring debut at this year's WrestleMania, Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey stands alongside her friend and training partner Natalya to battle former title holder Alexa Bliss and the wily Alicia Fox in tag team action. This past Monday night, Little Miss Bliss made the Queen of Hearts submit to her own version of Rousey's armbar, capital A, as the Rowdy One looked on from ringside. Can Rousey and Natalya score some retribution this coming Monday night? 6 nights before the baddest woman on the planet defends her title against the Goddess at the WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Now, if that doesn't make you want to see that show, I don't know what does. So if you can't figure it out, it's Rousey, Natalya versus Alexa Bliss and Alicia Fox. That's for Raw. SmackDown. Charlotte versus Sonya Deville in a non-title match, as well as the finals of the series of matches for a championship opportunity. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Rusev and Aiden English. The winners will face the New Day. Tom, who's it going to be?
Rusev and English break up here.
You think they break up?
Yeah.
Because they just teased getting back together, so they clearly have to be breaking up?
Yep.
Really? Wow. Well, hey, we'll see. You didn't watch SmackDown this week, did you?
No, I was on the road.
Yeah, it's a pretty good show.
My flight was delayed 23 hours.
Oh, my God. What airline?
Spirit.
Oh.
I got to the airport, and it's like, first of all...
How did you not do like 300 tweets about this? I'd have broken Twitter by now.
Because I went home, and I slept in my own bed.
Oh, I see. So you were... I see. Okay. It's not so bad.
And then I left on the first flight, and everything was okay. So...
205 Live Grand Metalik, or Matt, as Granny calls him, will be facing Buddy Murphy. And NXT's got the return of Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, Raul Mendoza versus Lars Sullivan, and Bianca Belair versus Nikki Cross. We've also got the upcoming Mixed Match Challenge. Are you ready for this, Tom?
Yeah, we're going to watch it.
Oh, really?
Ms. and Mrs.
Yeah, we'll talk. So here are the teams. Raw is Strowman and Alexa Bliss. A lot of these are the same teams as last time. Owens and Natalya, Bobby Lashley and Sasha Banks, Finn Balor and Bayley, and Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. SmackDown is AJ Styles and Charlotte, Uso and Naomi, Miz and Asuka again, Rusev and Lana, Truth and Carmella. And the first matches will be Strowman and Bliss versus Owens and Natalya, and AJ and Charlotte versus Jimmy Uso and Naomi. And it debuts September 18th, so a week away. So we're not going to be able to get through all those Miz and Misses before this thing starts. So that's sad. They'll all be about 20 minutes long. And that probably means that a bite will be taken out of 205 Live. So for Granny and Dave... your favorite show is going to be a little bit shorter from this point forward. And also, by the way, for SmackDown, they're teasing Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know why, other than to build up this match.
Why not?
It can do anything. We got Luke Harper and Tyler Breeze working NXT this past Thursday.
What's Matt doing? Is he still going to wrestle at all? Why not just shift him on over somehow?
He's still going to wrestle for the time being, but I don't know for how much longer.
Let's get him on over to SmackDown real quick for this little feud. They could have a tag feud with those four guys for 2 months, whatever. Then he can sail away.
Him and Bray are back together again.
Oh, I thought Bray was going to do something else.
No. I mean he could, but last I saw they were still doing stuff. They sent Luke Harper to NXT. It's not like he's being sent down to NXT like he's being demoted, but the vintner's on the shelf. They had him do the Buffalo, New York show because he lives in Buffalo.
Cooking meatloaf.
Yeah. He lives in Buffalo, so they had him do that show, but they're probably going to have him do some other NXT shows in the meantime. He faced Ricochet. Luke Harper versus Ricochet. And Ricochet beat him for the North American title. And Tyler Breeze beat Marcel Bartel. We've also got Ring of Honor. Final Battle this year. It's going to be in the Hammerstein, December 14th. And I don't think they've announced any matches yet. But we do have a pay-per-view coming up September 28th in Vegas. Are you going to go to this, Tom? Death Before Dishonor?
Oh, I'm not sure if I'm in town. I think I am in town.
Actually, I'm not sure if it's Death Before Dishonor. Yeah, it's Death Before Dishonor. Got Will Ospreay, Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor title. And Cody Rhodes, Young Bucks, Marty Scurll, and Hangman Page versus Okada, Ishii, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta, and Chuck Taylor. How can you miss that show?
Why don't you see if you can get us a tryout match?
Well, I can see if I can get you a tryout match, but I'm not going to do a tryout match. Kidding.
Come on.
I got smaller fish to fry right now.
What if we can get the Florida Brothers? Come on.
Get out of here. What do you got for upcoming dates?
This Friday, I will be wrestling at AIW Wrestling in Cleveland in a 4-way match, taking on Nick Gage, Matt Justice, and my new favorite wrestler, Kyle the Beast.
Kyle the Beast.
Yes.
He's your new favorite wrestler.
Well, is that a show? the last AIW show I was at a few months ago, and I was telling the owner, I don't know what spurred me to tell him this, but man, I love this guy. He's great. You need to get him on every show. And this is at the end of the night. We're about to leave the bar. We're getting kicked out. We look over. Kyle the Beast just starts headbutting the brick wall, Brian.
No.
I swear to God. Just headbutting this thing. Like, I think he did it 3 or 4 times. Nobody was watching him. He wasn't doing it to impress anybody. Only me and the owner, John Thorne, saw it. So I was like, well, that solidified it right there.
Well, there you go.
Made for wrestling.
Sure. All right, so that's coming up. What else?
Book him on every show if you can. I'll also be wrestling for Beyond Wrestling. That is the 16th, Sunday, September 16th, at their Somebody's Farewell show. They have a daytime show at Feast Sandwich Company outside, and then a nighttime show at the a local venue. They're in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. So if you're local to New England, come check it out. I'm going to be fighting Hot Sauce Tracy Williams for the Powerbomb.tv independent title.
Man.
Yeah, it's coming back home to my trophy shelf along with my UFC release paper.
Is that it?
MLW, October 6th. Black Label Pro is oh God, I'm going to botch the date.
November 3rd.
No, it's before that. It's September 22nd or 23rd. It's a Saturday. Darkest Timeline Championship Tournament. It's the 22nd. Darkest Timeline Championship Tournament. First round, me versus, I think it's been announced. If not, sorry. The Warhorse Jake Parnell. And after I beat him up, I'm going to be in the finals where once again I will win the Black Label Pro Heavyweight Championship.
That's right, former champion.
World Heavyweight Championship. I'll be the first 2-time champion.
It's got to come down to you versus Jordan Grace. That's poetic.
Jordan is wrestling, I don't know, Danny Adams, I believe. Swoggle's in there taking on Marco Stunt. Battle of the Giants.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, PCO's there as well.
There's not going to be anything left of Marco Stunt after Hornswoggle gets his hands on him.
Our manager, Josh E. Bishop.
Yeah.
He's in it as well. A litany of people. Cast of characters.
How did I not get in it? It's lame.
Well.
Oh, well.
They try to book guys from the PWI 500 mostly. So.
I see. All right, everybody, we're out of here for today. Dave's back on, I presume, the Monday show. I'm actually not entirely sure. We may have to go Tuesday because he gets back very late Monday. Might not even have a chance to watch Raw. So I don't know what his schedule is, but that's the latest. I'll be back tomorrow for Observer Live and the NWA show on Sunday night with Vinny, and then Observer Live all the rest of the week and all the normal shows, so check those out. Tom's back on Wednesday, and don't forget to check out the Friday show with Lance Storm. Fun show there. Lots of great stuff. Check it out. And that's it. Thanks, Tom. We'll talk to you again after a while.